Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's been like 10 months or more. I don't know. I don't remember. But I'm back and this time I created a Rubik's Cube solving robot. It's not very fast, nor does it work that well, I guess, but it gets the job done. So there are two main parts to this. One is the mechanical, which is the motors and the Arduino that drives the actual turning of the Rubik's Cube. And the other half is the color detection, the algorithm, and kind of like the management of the whole process, which is done through software on my computer. And then the third, it's kind of like a third part. It's the integration of the two with the serial line between the Arduino and my computer that also took some work, I guess. The mechanical part of the project is basically just 6 stepper motors and 6 stepper motor drivers that are attached into a custom 3D printed frame, and with also 6 3D printed stems that attach the motors to the Rubik's Cube. And of course, to sketch and build out my model for this, I used the juggernaut of a program, Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a 3D modeling software primarily aimed at children. Just look at their homepage. Fortunately, the shapes I had to model were fairly simple. And armed with my trusty caliper and middle school geometry, I printed out the motor shafts. The center squares of my Rubik's Cube have covers you can pop off in order to tighten the internal springs. This made it incredibly convenient to design the shafts in a way that wouldn't permanently deform the cube or get in the way of color detection I would need to do in the future. Of course, all I needed was 5 more of these, and to go with them, 6 motors. Back to Tinkercad. I then designed and printed out a frame that would be able to hold 5 of the motors, the cube, and leave space for the wiring. The top motor would be added after the fact, as you'll see in a moment, but the thing to note is I stopped the print early. About 10 hours into the 17-hour print, I realized I forgot to print the supports for the 90-degree overhangs. By some miracle act of God, they ended up mostly fine, albeit with little stringing. I stopped the print early before the final section of the overhangs that would cover the side motors, as I didn't want to press my luck any further. It was about at this point in time when everything decided to break. I pinpointed the problem to the stepper motor drivers, which I guess had shorted somehow, or just some kind of power problem had made the board die. And so I just had to rewire everything. I made it neater, I soldered it onto prototype boards, and then proceeded to use thicker wires to connect the power supply to the whole system of stepper motor drivers. So we've got the Arduino, we've got the 6 drivers on each of the boards. I put 2 on each board, and then those are connected by the 4 wire motor signal inputs to the stepper motors themselves. Okay, so looking at the system from a whole, the webcam combined with a system of strategized turns will look at every single cube at some point from one perspective, and then my software will reconstruct the Rubik's Cube to figure out what its original state was. And then that state is then fed into the algorithm, which decides what the solution is going to be. And then that's parsed back into kind of like a code that my Arduino can understand. And then the Arduino makes those turns to complete the Rubik's Cube. So all I had to do was do it. And I made some pretty good progress at the beginning, but sometime in the middle of summer, I kind of lost my place. The novelty of a cool project had sort of just worn away, and while I was really close to being done, there were still a lot of difficult steps I had to complete. And so I'd kind of just do little bits and pieces whenever I felt the motivation to do it, but those middle few weeks, I really didn't get anywhere. But now that school is about to start again, I have no excuses for not doing it, so here it is. Anyways, fast forward to now, I'm waiting for a package for Amazon that is hopefully the last bit of hardware that I'll need to complete the project. Essentially, it's just an USB extension cord because the project that's the Rubik's Cube robot that sits on the table is just out of reach from my computer that sits on my desk. So I bought a few cables to just make it connect. After I had written pretty much the entire code base, all that was left to do was the bug testing, which took an insane amount of time, and this clip that I'm showing right now not only doesn't represent the full amount of frustration that I had for this segment of the project, but also doesn't show how much time I spent on it. The reason why I don't have that many clips for this whole YouTube video is because the project took so long that I couldn't record everything because I would run out of space, or I would just get distracted by having to set up a camera to record what I was doing. So I kind of just gave that up and tried to get as much as I could done in the time that I had instead of recording. The important thing is, though, that I got it done so I can finally be at peace with this project being over. So if you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, something, and I will see you next time.